did a presentation on the history of rock and roll in the late 1950s. My name is Emily Whitney. Some general history of the 1950s is the 1950s was known as the birth of rock and roll. The civil rights movement was going on, which was when Americans were speaking out for equality and justice. Racial discrimination made it very difficult for peace in society, and also within the music industry. There was tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, which was the Cold War, which also made society very tense. Here's a picture of the civil rights movement. Rock and roll in the 1950s was a form of musical styles of gospel, jumpy blues, jazz, boogie-woogie, rhythm and blues, and a little bit of country mixed in. The audience in the early 1950s was pretty much homogeneous, but later in the 1950s it became divided into different groups with different interests. The radio had made it very easy to listen to music wherever people wanted, such as the car, and that made interest in different groups very different from the beginning of the 50s. The Great Migration brought many African Americans to the cities of the North and developed sounds of rhythm and blues while attracting many teens. However, because of segregation, many great artists during this time didn't get too much airplay on the radio, which is very unfortunate. This generation of teenagers rebelled against the music that their parents loved. The rock and roll originated from lower classes, while many middle-class whites thought that this rock and roll music just wasn't any good. Several churches began proclaiming rock and roll as Satan's music. And here is a quote from Frank Sinatra, which kind of explains the thoughts of how they felt about rock and roll. It says, "Rock and roll is the most brutal, ugly, degenerate, vicious form of expression. Lewd, slide, in plain fact, dirty, a ratchet smell of aphrodisiac, and the martial music of every side burned delinquent on the face of the earth." Sorry, it's kind of hard to read. Artists of the 1950s that I chose to talk about today is Sam Cooke, Bobby Darin, and the Isley Brothers, which are many artists that were really popular in the 1950s and are still really well known today. And the songs that I chose are some of my favorites. So Sam Cooke starts us off, 1931 to 1964. He was the most popular and influential black singers to emerge in the late 1950s. A song still well known today by Sam Cooke is "Wonderful World," which was in the U.S. top 40 hits between 1959 and 1964. It was originally written by Lou Adler and Herb Alpert, and he would sing this song to girls that he got in a relationship with, or he just met at the bar that he really liked, and he would tell them that he just came up with it on the spot when really he didn't. Something to look for in the song is how the rhythm is simple and the tempo is a constant medium pace that helps emphasize the lyrics in the song of him saying, "What a wonderful world." Let me get this sample pulled up. tempo is adagio, but the rhythm makes the tempo seem a little bit faster, making it sound andante. The rhythm is tranquillo, but also very cheerful. I think he does a good job at making it sound relaxed, but also hopeful at the same time. The melody is very catchy with the lyrics, but you do know that I love you and what a wonderful world it would be. I think those are very catchy in the song and something that you can hum to very well. Some instruments in this song are the bass, drums, and the guitar. Our next artist is Bobby Darin. He lived from 1936 to 1973. Bobby Darin was an American singer, songwriter, and actor who became very popular in the 1950s and in the 1960s. A song well known by Bobby Darin is called Splish Splash, which is a very good song, released in 1958. Splish Splash was composed by Bobby Darin and Jean Murray, but he was actually having a conversation with Murray Kaufman, who made a bet with him that he couldn't come up with a fun, good song that would be very popular in the 50s, using the word splish splash. Something cool in this song is that in the lyrics they mention many characters from other songs during this time period, such as Lollipop, Peggy Sue, and Good Golly Miss Molly. So make sure that you're looking for that in this. If I don't get to play the right part, it's in there. There's that fun song. And the tempo of the song was allegro. The rhythm is scherdanzo, and is also upbeat at the same time. The melody is very swingy and boogie woogie, especially when he begins with the chorus of I was a splish splash and I was taking a bath. The song sounds like it would have been played at a high school dance or an event that would get people up and dancing and in a good mood, kind of push them out of their comfort zone. The instruments in the song are the tenor sax, guitar, bass, and the drums. Another favorite artist of mine in the 1950s are the Isley Brothers. These three brothers, there was actually four, but one passed away, I believe, due to an accident. So the three of them moved on and began singing. Their names were O'Kelly, Rudolph, and Ronald Isley. They began singing in the early 50s. The brothers opened their career with Shout in 1959, which led to the Isley Brothers composing Twist and Shout in 1962. Shout was their first single and reached number 47 on the Billboard, on Billboard Hot 100. Shout was written as an answer to Jackie Wilson, her song called Lonely Teardrops. So if you look for in this song, the call and response of Shout is how, like, it's talking back to her song, if you know Lonely Teardrops.
You know you make me wanna kick up. You've been good to me, baby. Better than I've been to myself. And if you ever leave me, I don't want nobody else. I said I want you to know. I said I want you to know
All right. The tempo is allegro, but with a really quick rhythm, it pretty much sounds like presto. The rhythm is very quick, and the melody is very upbeat and powerful. I wanted to say that this song makes me feel like it's aggressively happy, and it's like pushing you to get up and dance and sing along to it, and makes me feel eager to listen. Instruments in this song were the guitar, the piano, and a tambourine. Some popular instruments in the 1950s for rockin' and rollin'. The tube amplifiers were more rugged and reliable during this time, making electric instruments a better option for this time of music. The electric guitar, or the lap steel guitar, which is that right there, was very popular, and usually there was a lead guitar and a rhythm guitar, which is important to know. The piano was very popular, the drums, the bass, and the saxophone. Some more facts about the 1950s music. Rhythm and blues and rock and roll popularized Black music, and many African American musicians rose to success later in the 50s. A lot of people stole music from African Americans and claimed it as their own, which is unfortunate. Rock and roll helped fill the gap later also between African Americans and whites, and also helped further the civil rights movement. And last but not least, this generation of music has helped influence everything that we pretty much listen to today. There's so many songs that I know, and it's 2020. So from the 1950s to now, and we still listen to it. It's pretty cool. So here are my references. Thank you so much.